Hey guys, welcome to this episode of The Passionate Few. Today I'm going to be sitting down and interviewing legendary professional skateboarder Mr. p.rod, Paul Rodriguez, to talk about all things passion, purpose, and profit, and see how he took his dream of being a professional skateboarder and made it a reality. Enjoy. All right, here we are with p.rod, Paul Rodriguez. Thanks for being on the show today, Paul.
My pleasure. What's up, Omar?
I'm doing good, man. It's an honor to have you on the show today, dude. You've been a big inspiration to me.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Cool, man. So today we're going to pick Paul's mind and just kind of hear the whole story, just beginning to where we are today in this beautiful abode, man.
Thank you.
So for those of you that either know Paul or don't know Paul, he's big-time Nike SB Pro, 9 signature models on Nike, 10th shoe coming out pretty soon.
This coming, or summer 2017.
And so Paul's just done big things in skateboarding, and so today we're just going to pick his mind and see what it took to get to where he's at today. So thanks again for being on the show today, Paul.
My pleasure, man. My pleasure.
So take us back, man. Where did this all start? Where did the legend that is p.rod all begin? Where did you grow up?
Well, I appreciate
what was your childhood like?
Well, I grew up basically 5 minutes from where we are right now, as I was showing you earlier. Yeah, Northridge, California. Valley kid, born and raised here. And I was just influenced by the things I saw around me, and eventually skateboarding came across me when I was about 11 going on 12. I went to a new school that year, Holmes Junior High, just down the road, and where I met a good friend of mine who we saw today, Dan Abadi. And he was a skater, and he skated with a group of kids there, and eventually I had the courage to ask them if I could try out one of their boards. I asked Dan, if I could try out one of his boards, or try out his board that he had, just riding on it. I just was curious to see what it felt like. And from there, I remember it clear as day when the seed was planted right there. That was when it really like hit me, like, wow.
How old were you
this there? Is cool. This was like early in the school year of 1996, so it was like October, November-ish area of 1996. I was 11, just about a month or two before I was about to turn 12.
Damn. And just instantly hooked?
Yeah, that's how it works with me, man. Like, if I'm in it, I dive all the way in. And if I'm out, I'm out. Like, there's no going back. And so at that point, until skateboarding came into my life and took over, I was really into playing guitar, as you might be able to see in the background here. I got guitars here and stuff. I was really into playing guitar. I wanted to be great like Jimi Hendrix. I wanted to have the biggest band in the world and tour the world and just play guitar. Man, I wanted to kill it at guitar. And just as fate would have it, a skateboard came across my path, my field of vision, and it was like, what's that? And I tried it out, and I was like, this is calling me. This is what I have to do. And I just dove so into it. It was almost like overnight. Like, all of a sudden, I didn't look at a guitar. I didn't touch the guitar. I didn't do anything. Even to this day, like, every so often, about once a year, I'll get a little inspirato to just pick up the guitar. I'll play it for like a few weeks, like really into it. I'll start going to Guitar Center and like looking at all the guitars I would have got if I had the chance to when I was a little kid, like, and just playing every day. And then like it'll last 2, maybe 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden just ice cold, like won't touch it. Like,
damn.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
And then skateboarding, as soon as you got into it, how long was it from that day you tried it till the day you actually bought your first board?
Well, that was like, so we're talking about October, November 96 to when I got my first skateboard directly after Christmas of 1996. Because everyone, when they ask you, oh, what do you want for Christmas? I would just be like, hey, can I just get some money so I can go and pick out the skateboard I want, I want to go and like customize my own board. So I just would ask people for, whatever, 10, 5, 10, 15, whatever bucks.
Whatever
Grandma,
I can get.
mom, auntie, uncle would just give me a couple bucks. And so right after Christmas, I went to Valley Skate and Surf down the road here, and I went and put me together a board, and that was it. There was no turning back. There was nothing else.
The rest is history.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then instantly you start progressing, or you get a little crew together, or how did it go down to where it became a daily thing?
Instantly, I had just one dude who I skated. His name was Sammy Mata, and him and I met in junior high at Holmes. It was my first year going there in 7th grade. He was already there in 6th grade, so he knew everybody, but we had something in common is we both had the same hairstyle. I had a long-ass hair and a ponytail, and it was shaved underneath. What? And he had an even longer ponytail with the same shaved underneath. Damn. And we seen each other, and it was just like instant click. Like, all right, this dude knows what's up. Yeah, like, I feel you, dude. And trust me, at the time, it was a dope hairdo. And we met each other, and we found out we both played guitar. And then we would go hang out at each other's house, jam all the time. And we met this other kid, Justin Roulette. Shout out. I haven't spoke to him since junior high, but Justin Roulette, he was the homie, and he was going to be our drummer. And we had a little band we were trying to put together, never actually even got together for practice. But shortly after that, it was like all of a sudden the skateboard caught my attention. One day I was walking home from school, and there was this girl at the time. She was my girlfriend, like in school, my little girlfriend.
Remember her name?
Her name was Kelly. And so we were across the street at the elementary school, walking away from our junior high across past where the elementary school was, and like this group of skaters walked by, and she knew them because she was at that school the year before, talking to them, and I just seen them skating, and I asked one dude, I was like, hey man, can I try riding on that? And I tried it, and it was Dan, and he had a Costin. It was a brand new board, a Costin. It was like a stereo graphic. Each nose and tail was a speaker. And after that, I was just like, man, that stayed with me. Like, man, that was awesome. I gotta get one of those. Like, and then so Christmas time started rolling around. People asked, what do you want? And that's what I would say. And I ended up getting a board. And then I was skating all the time. I was still hanging out with Sammy. And then Sammy was like getting into it. Because Sammy, I guess, knew how to do a little bit of stuff. He was like, yeah, damn, I can ollie. And so he was ollieing. I was like, what? And then we started skating all the time. And he ended up getting a skateboard, too, shortly after that, because I was skating. And then
you guys were best buds, man.
Yeah, we were best close homies. And then it was just, that was it. Skating all the time, him and I, all the time, nonstop. And he had a knack. He was the better one of the both of us, and he progressed faster.
Damn.
And he had more balls than I had. Like, he would try shit that I was too scared to try.
Yeah. Were you always like a cautious type of skateboarder?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Just slow and steady and consistent, just little by little progress, yeah.
I'm in no hurry to, sack myself or bust my ass. I'm in no rush for that. So I work my way calculated, and I make sure, like, okay, I'm at the point where this makes sense for me to now try. So that's kind of how that early time started.
That's really interesting, because a lot of people who see that you came up super young would think that you progressed fast. But you kind of see it as you progress at your own pace kind of thing. So how do you think that linked up? Because, I mean, there's no denying that when you look at the footage of you at 16 or 15, there's 15 and 16-year-olds now that are still kind of like, even though they progress now fast, you could still look back and go, damn, for 15 or 16, you ripped,
Well, you gotta, it just depends on when you started and what your environment was and how intense you did it. Like, it was relatively short period of time from the time I first started riding a board, about 12, to I turned professional at 17. That's only 5 years. But yeah, imagine how many hours I crammed in those 5 years, man.
Yeah.
You can't even understand. Like, when I get obsessed with something, I get obsessed.
Yeah.
And when you're 12 years old and your body does not get sore, you're talking about
free time.
8, 9, 10 hours a day on your board, and you're not even noticing that the time's going by. You're just all day. It's nighttime. Cool. We have the street lights come on. Sammy had this dope red curb we would always skate, and he had this little flat bar that his cousin built who used to skate, and he ended up getting this launch ramp. So I'd be at his house all the time, and we just doing tricks all day, and then it'd be dark. We'd skate until we were tired. His parents were super, he could do whatever the fuck he wanted. His parents were mellow. We'll be out front skating 10, 11, 12 at night on a school night.
Damn, that's tight.
And my mom would let me stay the night at his house on a school night because we both went to the same school. And so she was cool like that. She I would ask if I could sit the night at his house at school night. But we would go there. I'd stay at his house, and we'd be out skating as long as we felt like skating, right in the front yard on the little flat bar he had, and the little launch ramp, his red curb, flat ground. And it was nonstop. Any time you weren't obligated to do something, we were skating. It was nonstop. So, those first 5 years, man, I got it in.
You were obsessed. Yeah.
It was probably like 3. If you calculated, it might end up like being like 2.5, 3 of those 5 years were physically, like the hours amounted to 3 years worth of
on your board.
On my board. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like,
so what was your mental approach to learning tricks? Did you do it just one way, or you just skated so much that you just figured out the rhythm for it? Like, were you conscious about, like,
I mean,
right,
at
today...
the time, it was like in my 12-year-old head, it was just like I would see somebody do a trick, or I would see a trick that I was gunning for, or felt like I was at that stage to learn. And it was just trial and error. I would literally just try it and try it and try it and try it just until I got one.
Even if you had no clue how to do it?
No clue. I would just look, and I would ask if it was somebody I knew that I could talk to, and I would, hey, what do you, how do you do it? Where do your feet go? The basic shit.
Yeah, I remember that. I did the same thing.
Yeah, it's a basic.
How do you flick it? Is it like your toes? Is it like to the left, to the top? Like, how do you flick your foot?
I don't think I was that detailed. I would just be like, how's that trick done? I thought there was just like a magic, like, oh, you do it XYZ. That's exactly how it's done. I didn't know I had to like take what they're saying and then like put it to the test and find my own way to it. So it all came natural, because I don't mean it all came natural as in I just naturally like got good at it. It came natural, the effort I was putting in. Mm-hmm. It was not like a chore. It wasn't like this is what I was compelled to do all the time. I couldn't not do it. I had to do it.
So you think the obsession drove your progression more so than just like natural innate talent?
100%. That's how I am. I could be the hardest working person
mm-hmm.
if it's something I like, or I could be the laziest person you ever met if I have zero interest. I don't care if it's important. Ask Michelle, Cersei's assistant. Tell her what it's like to get me to answer an email. It's not happening. I don't care how important it is. I don't fucking email. I'll call you. Like, I don't type. I don't like sitting there. I admire people who can sit there and crank out 100 emails before breakfast. You're like, how do you even have the discipline to sit there and like type and articulate every thought that you have to answer for every different email? I'm like, nah, man, that's just not where I have an interest. So sorry, not happening. But if I'm interested, I'll work circles around you,
And then instantly you wanted to go pro, right?
For sure. That's how I always thought. Even when I was playing guitar, I was only thinking about being as great as Jimi Hendrix. Even younger than that, when I was doing karate class, I was only thinking about being the next Bruce Lee. I was only ever thinking about whoever is the best at whatever that was.
Wow.
And that's where I need to be. So naturally, when skating came in, I was like, all right, who's the best? Who's the guys to look at? Point them out to me. Boom. All right, I want to know everything about him. Anything I can get my hands on, footage, magazine, whatever. I need to know everything. I don't care about anyone else. Boom. And then I would find out, oh, this dude's also the dude. Boom. It's like I knew what I was aiming for, and that was it. And nothing else mattered.
Where do you think that came from, that drive? Because I know your dad, for those of you that don't know, Paul's dad is the famous comedian, Paul Rodriguez. Do you think that in any way, seeing him live it at the highest level kind of motivated you to like, oh man, he could do it.
For sure.
I could do it.
For sure. Looking back on it now, at the time, I wouldn't have been able to put my finger on it. But
right.
I remember everywhere we would go when I was little, because that was when he was at his high point. Everywhere, people were stopping him, saying hello, like asking for pictures, asking for autograph. And I remember he would always take a photo. He would always, chit chat with people. He would always sign an autograph. He always would take the time. even when it sucked for me. Like
Yeah.
he'll take me to Knott's Berry Farm, and you get to maybe 3 rides the whole day, because in between he's getting stopped every 2 minutes. I remembered that, you know, and that's why to this day I know that trait is in me. Like, it's very rare that I would ever not take a photo or a picture or whatever with somebody if they ask. Very rare. If it's like I'm like literally have to go, or I'm in a hurry or something, I can't even think of a circumstance that I wouldn't do it. That I remember, like, that's something cool. Like, that'd be cool if that happened to me. And I remember feeling or, you know, going to movie sets and going to comedy shows and being behind stage and meeting people like celebrities or whoever, different people that I knew of, and just seeing how they all interacted. And I remember like having this feeling, I don't know how to explain it, but like it's intoxicating. It's like, I want this. I want this.
You want that level of respect or like admiration for your craft.
Yeah, you know, you want, I want to make it, whatever that means.
Yeah.
And
so do you think that that's why you were always looking for something to plug into that formula? You know,
yeah, for sure.
Whether it was guitar or whatever, because you're like, I need to find the medium, and then you found skateboarding. I was like, boom, that's it. I'm just running gun ho. That's what it's gonna be.
Now looking at it as a grown man, I can break it down and like and see that. At the time, it was just a kid following his
internal
his passion,
feeling.
Following his whatever where I'm leading. Like, this is my thing, so I'm doing it 100%. And then something else will come along and distract me. Whoa, this is my thing. But then skateboarding came around, and then the other thing never came around.
Yeah.
Nothing else was able to come around to like make me be like, okay, I'm going here. You know, that was where it all ended. Like from the time I started skateboarding, basically 12 to since I was born, the time before that, it would have been like, you know, baseball, karate, guitar, gymnastics. What else was I into? Basketball. You know, when I started playing at my elementary school on our little school team, like flag football, I was super into for a while. And I was into just all these things, and they would come and go. And then skateboarding came, but it never went.
Why do you think that is? What is it about skateboarding that for you just fills you up? What is it? You can get as deep as you want.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to really like pinpoint, man. It's like whatever is probably the same thing that you may get from doing an interview. Whatever that feeling is for you.
Just like a sense of, for me, it's like a sense of like high, like, you know what I mean? It's a challenge. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like you know, like you go through all this effort and you got to talk and try and agents and and then you get there and then you do it. So for me, it's just fulfilling. And then you get the story and you share it with other people. So it's probably the same thing for you as like the challenge of learning a trick or whatever it is. Yeah.
It's the same.
You can
whatever
sleep
that
good
is.
at night.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, exactly. Like you lay your head on the pillow like that. Man, I spent my day good.
Yeah.
This day that I had in this life that I'm never going to get back, I did a good job with that day right there. Yeah. And I want to keep recreating days just like that.
Yeah.
I want as many days as possible, as many days in a row to lay my head on the pillow and be like, yeah, I squeezed all the juice out of that day right there. Like, you know, and that's, I mean, in skateboarding to me, I guess it gives me that feeling. The riding away from a trick, just feeling the grind on the trucks, like the vibration of a grinding on the different materials, concrete, metal, butter bench material, whatever it is, like feeling those vibrations like going up through my legs from starting at my board, like feeling of grip tape sliding on the suede, like those, I like fiend for those sensations, you know, like the feeling you have when there's a brand new pair of wheels and you're riding on super smooth ground, or the feeling you have when like you got broken in wheels and they're right at the sweet spot and you're riding on super smooth, like just the different sensations, like and like so it's just riding away from a trick, like just the way you envisioned it. Something about it, man. It just does it for me. I don't know why. I can't pinpoint it the same way somebody might get from creating a masterful song on a guitar or whatever your medium is, man.
And did you trip out when you started progressing so fast and getting sponsored and things started moving? Like, because how old were you when you got sponsored from the time you started skating?
Like a real legitimate sponsor is like 1999. So what was I, 14?
So 2 years from the day you stepped on a skateboard to the day you got a sponsor.
Today, like I started getting free stuff. Yeah, about 2 years.
And were you just tripping out, just like, oh my God, free stuff?
I was super stoked. I was super tripped. I was like, it was just confirmation to me, like, that it's happening.
Yeah, the dream's coming true.
Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah.
Like, I've been telling my mom, this is what I'm going for.
Yeah.
Boom, like, this
Proof.
is the first sign. Okay, boom, I'm headed in the right direction.
Boom, Mom.
Free boards, man. I used to get brand new boxes of stuff. I would put it in my bed. I would sleep next to all the product, the boards, the shirts. Like, if I got a new pair of shoes, yeah, I would sleep next to that shit. Like,
just because you loved it, so just appreciated it so much.
Yeah, appreciate it. I loved it. Like, it was like, you know, I was just like the same way. Like, some dudes like are like tech nerds and they like geek out on the latest tech device or whatever. That's how I was a fucking product nerd, like a skateboard nerd. Like, you know, I would be just surrounded by this product laying there. Anytime I got anything brand new, even when my parents bought me like new pair of shoes that I've been wanting when I was even smaller or whatever, it was just, I was just in awe of that stuff.
And then the sponsors just kept growing and growing. Like, you just started picking up sponsors immediately after that, or what was the process?
Yeah, man. I had a very fortunate process early on. Like, when I first started getting stuff, it was like DNA skateboards and unit trucks, FKD bearing, their whole products, all in their distribution, all their products. And I got in the first skate video I was in was the DNA microanalysis video.
You must have been tripping out.
I was tripping.
Oh my God, this is coming to reality right now.
It's finally happening. It's finally happening.
And so young too. Like,
yeah. After that video kind of came out, you know, like, I don't know, a buzz started happening. I remember realizing, like, man, this is what I've been waiting for. And like, people are like I would like whispering about me, like, hey, you hear about this new kid? Or hey, I would like people would tell me about, like, people are talking about you. This is such a cool, really, like, they're taking note. They're like interested in what I'm doing. Like, awesome, you know?
Wow.
And then I just kept feeding the drive and kept feeding the excitement, kept feeding the passion, and just more and more kept happening. Like, then I would got to a point where, like, I was getting offers from all over the place, and I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I wanted to be loyal to people who looked out for me, but at the same time, I was like, in my head, I knew DNA wasn't my
the goal,
what I was aiming for when I first got on. But I appreciated that they you know, took me in. That I got, you know, super respect for those dudes forever. You know, I don't want that to sound bad. But at the time, you know, you're a little kid, you're 14. My dream sponsor at the time was Blind.
Yeah.
Ronnie Krieger, Gideon Choi, James Craig. All
legends,
those were the people. Like, I want to ride for Blind.
Yeah.
That was my goal. But fuck, man, somebody comes by, they recognize it's a real company, they give you boards. Like, yeah, obviously I'm going to take the opportunity.
And you start making money right away?
No. I didn't probably start making actual money until it was on S. S was paying me. Before that, I wasn't making any money. But I didn't need to. I was living at home with mom. Yeah. Like, free stuff was like great. You know?
Better than money.
That's
all
you were
going to buy anyways.
Yeah, I didn't need anything else. So that was cool.
And then when did the Nike deal come around?
That didn't come till later, till about 2004. I was Nigel Alexander. We lived together at that time.
Nigel's your filmer at the time?
Yeah, he's best friend, filmer,
mentor.
Now he's the uncle to my daughter. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like it was just he's my dude, you know. And he worked at the skate shop 118 that I drove you guys by earlier. That's not there anymore, but he worked at the shop, and this dude Robbie, who was putting together the Nike program at the time, knew that Nigel and I were really close, and he told Nigel, like, hey, man, like, we're super interested in Paul. You think that would ever be something he'd be into? And Nigel called me at home. I was sleeping. He woke me up.
How old were you at the time?
19.
19.
Yeah.
Wow. Nike comes calling at 19.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe. No, yeah, 19, 18 or no, 18. Yeah, 19. I was 19 in 04. And then, so I'm sleeping. I answered the phone. Hello. Hey, Paul, what's up, dude? Hey, I got this dude, Robbie. He's over here. He's the Nike rep, and he really wants to talk to you. He says Nike's super interested. And he's like, you should come on down. I was like, okay. Like, in my head, I was like, you know, S was my dream goal to be.
Because Costa and all those
at that
guys.
time, Costa was my favorite skater, and all his sponsors were my favorite sponsors, and I had every single sponsor he had. We had the same everything.
So you aimed for exactly like your number one skater, and then you got it. Wow.
Yeah, it was a trip.
That's crazy. Good for you, dude. Living the dream. Good for you.
Yeah, it was crazy. And so then I just was like, I'm always one to listen to opportunity. So I went down there. They talked to me and said, hey, would you, like Nike's really interested. Would you be interested in flying up to Portland and talking to Sandy Bodecker? He's like the boss who's putting it all together. And I was like, yeah, for sure. So not too long after that, I flew up there with Cersei. We had a little secret meeting up there, and everything sounded good. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do it.
They gave you an offer you couldn't refuse.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. And you must just be tripping like, oh my God, Nike, I'm 19. I mean, the average 19-year-old, when I was 19, I don't even think I knew what I wanted to do with my life.
I already thought I was doing it big. Like in my mind, I was already living what I
dream.
exactly had been dreaming of. I didn't even know Nike could be part of what to dream of.
Yeah, because before that, because Nike didn't even come into the market as an established or
they were still like
street cred brand.
Outskirts. Everyone was still suspicious about them. They weren't. It wasn't like now where everybody wants to be on it. It was just like, I don't know. Is it like, do they even know about skating? Like, do they make good shoes for skating? I don't know. Like, it was just like suspicious. They were just planting the seeds of the brand.
And they offered you a pro shoe right away?
No. I was down there, and then when we flew back, Cersei started getting into the, the nasty work.
Contract
they
stuff,
have to negotiate and battle and figure out the numbers and all the things that go along with contracts.
That was a fun conversation on the airplane.
Yeah.
On the way back.
So, at first, they offered me a nice little contract, especially for the time. It was definitely like next level from what I was making at the time, but Cersei was like, I was like, so do I get a shoe? She's like, they're not planning on giving anyone a shoe. I was like, all right, well, then I can't do it. And luckily I was still young enough and naive enough to just be like, well, I can't, because the last cherry on top that was missing from my dream being 100% complete the way it was a pro shoe. And I was already skating samples of Paul Rodriguez shoes on S. Because
you already had a pro board, and the pro shoe is just the sealing the deal of being an official pro.
And I was already wearing samples with my names on it, that are ready to come out.
Did you wear them to Nike?
Soon. I don't know what I wore.
That would have been smart. That would have been a smart play to I
wish I had that insight back then. Where the hell were you then?
Yeah.
So then she was like, yeah, but they don't do pro shoes for skateboarding. I was like, well, I got to have me a shoe. Like, that's my dream. That's what I dreamed about. So I'm gonna thank you for the offer, but I'm gonna go ahead and stick where I'm at, because I'm like, I have a shoe on the way.
And this was on the airplane that you were telling that, or in the hotel?
No, this was like a call later, like a week or so after she got back and negotiated.
So you were willing to turn down Nike and the biggest offer that you've seen till at that time because of a shoe, just the principle of having 100%. An official pro shoe.
My dream. I had a crystal clear vision of a dream, crystal clear, and I was already living it. All the sponsors that I had in my crystal clear vision were already checked off the list. Got them all. Have them all now.
Wow.
And the only thing missing was that signature shoe being on the shelf in the stores and seeing other skaters skating a shoe with my name on it. That was the only piece of the puzzle missing. Well, actually, it wasn't necessarily even missing at that time, because I was skating the sample. So it was
on its way.
The puzzle was filling in, and it was, getting close enough to where it was about to hit the marketplace. Maybe 6-8 months after that. So I was just like, look, man, I have a shoe that I'm wearing right now with my name on it. It's hard to take me away from wanting that. I appreciate the offer, but I need a shoe. I just remember telling this, I have a shoe. Damn. I always wanted a shoe, a pro shoe. It would feel incomplete without a pro shoe.
You must be so grateful right now that you stuck to your guns on that one.
Yeah, dude. I'm so thankful
looking back
for that kid who was naive enough and just was unknowingly smart enough to stand his ground like that.
Was it a wrestle with Nike? Were they right away okay, cool, we'll give him the shoe, or was it a back and forth for a while?
I don't remember what the conversation, how it went with Cersei, because I wasn't on those calls, but she called me back not long after that, all right, they'll give you a shoe.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, and I was like, done deal.
It's on.
It's on.
Wow.
Let's do it.
So you're 19 at the time?
19.
And what do you do after that phone call, man? You must have been tripping, just like cloud nine.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I remember just being like, holy shit, like, this is insane, because this is something that caught me off guard, because I had already had all the sponsors that I had dreamt of, but I didn't never dream of a Nike, because it was never a reality. Realm of
possibility.
They weren't in the market when I first came in. So now that they're coming in, like, I'm like, whoa, how the hell did I just end up on, you know, the brand that Jordan built? You know what I mean? Like, how did I just, the house that Jordan built, Michael Jordan was a huge, and still is a huge inspiration to me. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is, it was crazy.
Wow. So when you tell your parents, what do they say at that point? Because they were pretty supportive all along, right?
Yeah, my mom she was like supportive, as in like she would let me skate and encourage me to skate. My dad, I wouldn't say he was unsupportive. He was just a dad who was like, yeah, he's a boy. He's, 12 years old. Kids, they ride skateboards, they ride bicycles, they go out, they play, they kick a ball around. That's what kids do. Like, he looked at it as that. Like, that's just what kids do. He's just being a normal kid who just out there skating with his friends. That's what they're into. But like, when it was like, Dad, I'm gonna do this, then it was like, it was never doubt. It was just more like, what do you mean? How?
Skepticism,
like,
kind of thing.
Didn't think that it's like, that's not a career that people have.
Yeah.
Because
no one was making like good money, or like,
I didn't even know what good money was at that age. I'd never had bills. I didn't know what is good money. Like, I didn't know. It was just, my parents were taking care of me. I was a kid. But
so you've probably had a lot of those moments of like where you could look your parents in the eyes and just be like, told you so. That must feel great, man.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of moments like that? That's pretty cool.
I still have to sometimes be like, yo, trust me.
Yeah.
Dad, trust me. I got this. Even to this day with certain things, I'm like,
wow.
I'm telling you, just let me handle this. I got it. But it's cool.
Do you think any part of you was kind of like also wanted to prove to your dad that you could kind of do it on your own? Because I'm sure that he could have, made some introductions in the industry and Hollywood and all that. Do you think that any part of you was like,
that's why,
loyal to your craft because you wanted to do it on your own?
No, and I'm happy it wasn't that, because that would have been like, that wasn't like it was just purely, I love to ride a skateboard. I happen to just fall into this, and I happen to like love this more than anything else in this world. I have no interest to do anything. I didn't, there was a point where I didn't even watch TV anymore. I only watched skate videos. I didn't even watch The Simpsons anymore. Like, that was always my favorite show. All of a sudden, I didn't give a shit about The Simpsons. It was, I just want to watch skateboarding. I want to skate. Any moment I can't skate, I want to watch it. I want to look at a magazine. I want to do something about it. I'm thinking about it. I'm visualizing. Like, it was literally no different than how a crackhead must be about crack, or a heroin addict must be about heroin. Like, if you don't have heroin, you're looking, how do I get it? Where do I get it? Where's my fix? I need it. And you got it, you're in bliss. Wow. Same thing with skateboarding. If I'm not doing it, I need to see it. I need to watch it. I need to talk about it with somebody. I need to think about it. I need something. And then when I'm doing it, I'm like this,
Yeah.
So it wasn't about like,
You didn't have a chip on your shoulder and you wanted to prove a point.
No. Yeah. But I will say, on the flip side of that, I did have that, but it wasn't about skateboarding. Early on, for sure, when I was a little kid, my mother was supportive of me, like, going to auditions and trying to be an actor. And then my dad was in the industry, and he had linked me up with people that wanted to manage me. But being so young, I was passion driven, So, like, it was cool. I was into it. I liked acting. I even did a couple commercials as a little kid, and I liked it a lot. But I also did have a understanding that, like, my dad's in this industry. He's making connections for me. He's helping me out. I had this weird like thing about, I did in the, as far as 8, 9, 10-year-old kid can understand, have that like sense of pride of like, I want to be self-made. I don't think I could have verbalized it like that, but I did remember having that, like,
so that might have kind of indirectly fueled it somehow.
I remember there was a point where like my mom was taking me to auditions all the time, and then I was like, I can't take one more fucking audition. I can't stand auditions. Sitting there with these fucking kids. Everyone, their parents are over them, like making sure, all right, little Timmy, like make sure you smile. But like I just remember like just sitting in there and like I can't do this anymore, because it would be sometimes it was like 2 or 3 a day, and my mom would be driving me and you sit for hours just till they finally call your name in there. You go, hi, I'm Rodriguez, I'm so and so years old, and and you know, these are the lines I'm going to work on today, or whatever. You'd read the little lines. And then I got to the point, I remember being in an audition. I was like, hey, how are you? Because I was telling my mom, I don't want to do this anymore. Mom, I don't want to do this anymore. I hate going to these auditions. I wasn't seeing the passion, because I was like, man, I need to do the acting, not just the audition phase. Was crazy.
Which is ironic, because I know that you said after skateboarding, you know, whenever you're done with that run, you do want to transition into it.
I'm getting to that.
All right.
So I remember being at an audition. This is where my mom stopped. Like I was so grumpy about it. Like they brought me in. Like, hi, how you doing? Hi. Okay, so you got the lines you're gonna read? Yeah. How old are you? 12, or however old I was. You know. Okay, let's read the lines. Okay. Just blah 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 blah. And she just blatantly said, "Look, if you don't want to be here, you shouldn't have come."
Wow.
I said, I know. I don't remember what my response was like. My mom made me. I don't know if I threw my mom under the bus or what, but I just remember her saying that, and then like shortly after that, it was just done. It was just no more.
Damn. And were you skating at that time?
No, I wasn't even skating yet.
So you just didn't give a shit. You just didn't want
this is when I was getting into guitar though.
Yeah.
So, but acting, I had the bug when I was doing it, like when I was on a commercial, like doing commercial. This is fun, awesome. But then going through all those auditions were crazy, and I was crazy shy at the time. But so going back to what you just said, it's ironic that now I want to do acting. Yeah, I've always had the interest and I always liked it, but like I said, I had that understanding at a young age, like that I don't want something handed to me. But now that I've shown myself and proven myself, like I am self-made, and even now, if the acting jobs I do get, or if however that unfolds, a lot of it has to do with the name I built for myself, not
on your own,
with how someone else can get me into, you know. So I'm okay with it now, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you've earned your spot to where it's like you've earned the advantage.
At the end of the day, I know that when it comes down to it, I've built who I am.
Wow. Does it ever trip you out? Like, do you ever walk around and just see like the fact that you've done what, 9 signature shoes, almost 10 now, and the fact that I know I heard another interview where you said that there's only a few other people on this planet that's ever had that honor. Do you kind of want to rifle off that list?
From what they told me, it was Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, and me are the only one with more than 8 shoes. But I don't know if that's even real. I still don't know that that's the truth.
Man, what, does it even matter, man? That's,
regardless.
That's an incredible feat. Yeah.
Do
you ever get desensitized to it? Or I mean, do you ever just walk around and like pinch yourself and be like, oh my God, this is my life. Wow.
It both can happen to you. I'm not going to lie, man. I've caught myself many times where like acting a certain way, like so normalized by it. And I've caught myself and literally like told myself, like, who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck is this guy, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, all this ain't shit to you, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, you're entitled to this, really?
Yeah.
I would like to see what the 12-year-old would like to say about that. The 12-year-old, I've definitely had those moments, bitter moments, or being on a trip that I didn't want to be in, or go do a demo I didn't want to do, or just like ego shit. Like I've had, for sure. If you'd say that's never happened to you, you're a damn liar. But on the flip side, yes, I do trip out. I do trip out when I walk in the door of my house. Like, man, it's my fucking home. Like I can walk around this motherfucker naked all day long if I want to. Nobody can say shit. I could turn the music up as loud as I want. Like all those just stupid, shit like that.
Wow.
Of course I trip. When I look down, I see my name on my feet next to a very familiar logo with the swoosh. It's like, man, I can't believe I'm next to that. Or I'll see like all these little pieces of things are all memories to me. All things that have signified what I've been able to do. So, yeah, it definitely happens on both sides of the coin. But at the same time, I definitely know that This ain't it, man. I ain't made it yet. I haven't made it yet.
So what do you define success as, or what do you define as made it as? Or do you just keep kind of stretching what that is to just keep going?
I define it as until this whatever feeling I have in my stomach and my heart and this fire that I feel burning, until it's not burning as fucking intense as it is, then I guess that'll be when I'm satisfied. I don't know.
What's it like, man, when you're out on the streets and you see people wearing your shoe? What's that feel like? And I'm sure there's times where you've seen it and they might not even have any idea that it's
many
you.
times. I've
see
walked
their
right
shoe.
by somebody, seen them wear my shoe, and I walk right by their face. They had no clue. And didn't even flinch. Like, didn't even, oh, what's up, p.rod? Like, nothing. Like, many times it's happened. Yeah, it's a trip, especially when I first started happening with my first shoe. Oh, my God, dude, this is crazy. Like, but, yeah, it trips me out all the time, and it happens randomly. You know, I might randomly be, you know, at Subway, getting a sandwich, and the guy in front of me has my shoes on, or wherever. Just random, anywhere. You go to Disneyland, it'll happen. You know, I'll see, oh, shit, there's my shoe. Like, oh, shit, oh, cool, that's nice. Yeah. Or, oh, he's got a primitive hat. Okay, cool. Oh, yeah. Like, you know, something that I'm involved with, or something with my name directly on. Like, oh, that's cool. Like, it's super rad, super humbling, but also super motivating, super inspiring.
Yeah, to just keep going to make sure they do, you know.
Like, I want more of that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know some people probably, like, hear that quote and be like,
you gotta know,
whatever, conceited, ego, whatever. Yeah, whatever it is. I don't know why, for whatever reason, but yeah, it's a feeling that it feels nice, and I don't mind recreating a nice feeling. You know.
What's the most surprising thing to you about what it's like to be on the other side? Because I'm sure as a 12-year-old kid dreaming, if you would have told him like, hey, dude, the 31-year-old you is gonna have 10 signature shoes on Nike, traveled all over the world, done everything you wanted to do, and some. I mean, what's been the most surprising thing about success, at least in skateboarding to you, that you had no idea or couldn't anticipate?
Well, what I would say is the surprises are more of the negative sort. Everything I dreamed of that you can only see from the outside looking in, all the perfect story part of it, all the perfect picture part of it. That wasn't necessarily surprising because it was already what I was dreaming about. It was, when it happened, it was surreal. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm actually living it, what I saw in my mind. What was surprising was the shit that that you can't get prepared for, that you can't get taught, or no one's there to walk you through it.
Yeah. Like what?
And that sidelines you. You know, just dealing with, financial stuff. Like, all of a sudden you're this big shot. All of a sudden people are looking at you different, or people you grew up with, as much as like
family out of the
you'll
woodwork.
be called out the bad guy if you bring it to their attention. But some people you may grow with, like, the dynamic between you guys is different. But like people start looking at you as like the answer to their problems.
I see what you're saying.
Oh, I knew this guy from growing up. He could solve my problem.
Yeah.
He can fix this for me.
Yeah.
And when I was really young, I had a real problem not being able to say no to people.
Wow, dude.
Hit up left and right. All of a sudden, people you never family members you never talked to for very, very much.
Yeah.
Growing up, all of a sudden, hey, think I can get a hand with this, or even people who aren't direct family, older friends or whatever, like all of a sudden everybody's problem becomes your problem. Everybody's sob story is now your sob story, because they look at you like, oh, you're living the dream. You don't have any problems, but listen to mine. So now I don't have any problems. I went from having no problems to having everybody else's problems. I got your problem, your problem, your problem. And now now that's my problem.
And does that still happen? Like, has that...
It happens, man. It happens.
Did you get like a financial plan right away, or coaching, or did you get any help with that, or was that just kind of something you learned to like navigate on your own along the way?
Uncle Dave, I remember when I was a little kid, he taught me something really smart that he would do. Like he would say like, little buddy. That's what he called me, little buddy. Whenever you start making some money, please save it. He said, what I like to do is I like to save up at least a year's worth of salary, so that if you ever don't have a job, you have a year's worth of cushion to figure it out.
Yeah.
And that still has stuck with me till now. So those were the type of surprises that I didn't know to expect. Or
how about like fame? I mean, I'm sure you start getting the attention from
fame,
females.
Man. This is skateboarding fame.
Yeah,
this is not fame. Like this, Brad Pitt, that's fame. He's got fame.
Yeah.
Jay-Z, he has fame. This is skateboarding.
But still,
this
I mean,
is like not fame.
But still, there's a certain degree of like you're out on the streets, people recognize you. But I get what you're saying. It's not at the level where everybody makes a big scene.
What I would say is, it's the perfect amount. Not that I would never desire more, but it's the perfect amount. It's the perfect amount to feed that little ego you have. You know, perfect amount. Somebody walk down the street like, "Yo, p.rod, what's up, man?" I'm like, "Hey, man, what's up?" Or, it's perfect amount like to feel good, but it's not so much to where like it becomes a nuisance, where like you're a slave to it, where you're a prisoner to it. Like, you can't go to Ralph's because you'll get ambushed. Like you can't go, or you got to walk around with bodyguards everywhere, or you can only, I can't go to the movie theaters with my daughter because it's just like you can't get no peace. Everybody's just constantly interacting, interfering. Like I don't have that, so I would just say it's the perfect amount. It's enough to feel nice.
What about the chicks when you were single? Did you get a certain amount of attention that you enjoyed, or was it kind of like only the skate realm? Or I'm sure that's got to be pretty sweet, dude. You can elaborate on whatever detail or level of specificity you'd like to.
It's hard to say things
given current.
No. Yeah. It's not that. No, I would say no. It didn't really change. Like, one, especially coming up, I was way too focused on skateboarding and give a damn about hanging out with girls until later on. But this is gonna sound bad, but like,
it's all right, Paul. Just let it out.
So when I was before all that, when I was a little kid at school, like I had girls who had crushes on me. When I was in elementary school, girls would be writing me notes, or in junior high, leaving notes in my locker. I was thankful where even before that, like I was
natural.
I was blessed with that. But so after the fact, I mean, it didn't really change that much, so
it was just always working. So
thank you.
Yeah, I
didn't want to say it like but it is what it is.
No, I get you. And then outside of skateboarding, I know you said kind of acting is what you want to do. Like, is there anything else outside of the entrepreneurial stuff that you have going on with like Villager and Coconut Water, the St. Archer stuff? I mean, is there anything else outside of acting that you want to do, or is acting just kind of the next phase and you'll figure it out?
Well, as of right now, that's the next phase. I got businesses going, and actually within the last year, I've been really super, I'd say more than a year, super like having a lot of fun, like learning about the businesses I'm involved with, learning about how they operate, what's the science behind successful businesses and unsuccessful business. I've been really like getting geeked out by that. Like this is cool. I'll watch Shark Tank all day long. If there's a marathon, I'll be watching Shark Tank from sun up to sundown. Like when I was sick this last week, all I did was go on demand and watch Adventure Capitalist, The Profit, Shark Tank.
Yeah, with Mark Lemonis or whatever.
I was even watching the what do they call them? The West Texas Investor Club. Those dudes are dope. That's all I watched. I would go on demand. I would find the full season, watch it from beginning to end. Okay, next show. What's my show? Okay, Adventure Capitalist. Boom, full season. Okay, Shark Tank, full season. Okay, it's just I just love it. I watch it like I used to watch skate videos. But as of right now, I mean right now I'm still super in love with skateboarding, so that's what's hard, is because I know if I really let myself go into acting, it might happen what happened when I played guitar and I found skateboarding. Guitar just vanished. So I get scared about it. I don't ever want to just be like, look at a skateboard and not feel compelled to ride it. But at the same time, it is a type of thing that at some point you gotta have something else.
Do you have in your head, you don't have to say it, but in your head, do you have a rough idea of when you'd like to move forward from skateboarding, or is it not something you've even thought about it?
Well, I would say this, from professional skateboarding, it'll probably be sooner than later. From being a person who loves skateboarding and doing it all the time, as long as my legs work, I can't see why I wouldn't skateboard. I love it too much, man. I love the feeling of being on my skateboard way too much.
Do you want to be able to like hard stop or kind of like gradually kind of transition out of it? Or are you still kind of...
I can't call it.
Got you.
I can't call it yet, but yeah. I've been saying this. Actually, I'm not going to say it.
Say it, Paul. Let it out.
It's better to keep it to myself. But yeah, it'll be sooner than later. Professionally, like, got to go to demos, got to do signings. Everyone expects you got to go to this contest and do good, like, and all that. Like, that's all stuff I love and enjoy. But I don't want to be that dude just clinging on, like,
milking
fucking
it,
way washed up, just holding on just because. Nah, I can't be that guy.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna allow that.
And then your 10th shoe comes out. Do you guys have a date that you're allowed to announce, or?
I don't have an actual date. I just know it's this coming summer.
Wow, very cool.
2017.
So you would have been 10 shoes, man. That's not bad. It's not
It's
bad
okay.
to walk away
It's
from a
very
career
okay.
in 10 years. Wow.
I mean, dude, I didn't say I'm walking this year, coming up, but I would just say it'll be sooner than later.
Wow, man.
From the professional aspect.
Right.
But from the being a skater who still loves to skate all the time, that's not going nowhere.
Dude, to be honest, you deserve to do whatever you want.
As long
man.
as my body is working.
It's like
well, thank you.
13 video parts, right?
At least, yeah.
And then how many passports you filled up? You probably traveled all over the world at this point too.
Yeah, I've done that. I don't know how many that is, but yeah, I've done that.
Do you even have any desire to travel anymore?
Zero. Zero.
You've just been everywhere, huh? Is there anywhere
I wouldn't say everywhere, but I just, right now at this time of year, like I was telling you earlier, is like time of year when I'm fed up with traveling because the whole year was full of it. Right now I'm on vacation. I'm home.
It's
This is
relaxing.
vacation. Yeah. Yeah. So that's, again, that might sound weird, but
it's honest.
Yeah, it's honest.
Looking back on everything, man, what's your advice to people out there listening to this, whether they're, aspiring skateboarders or musicians or business people or engineers, whatever it is that they're pursuing, looking back as a credible source, what would be your best advice to people, man? Like your
no
most
matter where you're
advice.
at, no matter what you're doing, no matter what phase you're at in your path to greatness and whatever your vision of that is, always be focused on getting to the point of living life on your own terms. I understand you can't just snap your fingers and be like, yo, I live life on my own terms, because that's not realistic, man. If you have to grind, if you have to take a job in the meantime while you're still working on your other hustle that you're hoping to do, then you have to do that. But in a way that is taking life in your own terms. It's like, okay, I need to take this job, but anytime I'm at this job, I'm working on this because this is going to get me to that point that I'm dreaming about. So that is still on your own. You're not being a slave to that. I would say, but wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, man, just if you have dreams of glory, dreams of greatness, and that doesn't always mean money, fame, and all whatever your version of that is. If you want to be the best guitar maker the world's ever handmade guitar maker, classic guitar maker, that's your dream. Then, man, I would say, man, don't ever stop till you get it, and always aim to get into a position where you're living life on your own terms.
And what do you think holds most people back? Because a lot of people...
Hell if I know, man.
So no clue, huh? It's just hard to gauge unless you're in that actual journey or in that...
Mind frame.
Vortex, mind frame.
I don't know what to say, man. I don't know. Maybe
because you only know the
one way. If you don't have that,
out.
then you obviously haven't something. You haven't found that something that lights that fire inside of you strong enough to do it. Because when you're one of those people who is, you can pick any famous person you see today. I'll break down how I think their fire led them there.
Right.
You don't just stumble into it like something. You attracted it somehow, some way. And if you're not compelled to wake up in the morning, walk out the house, then you haven't found that thing that makes you feel that way. That's all I would say is you have to find that thing. And some people, it happens earlier than others. I was lucky it happened to me early because I have noticed in myself that I'm drawn to doing physical activity, physical things. I'm not a big into super intellectual stuff or, you know, other creative outlets. I like physically moving.
Doing stuff, yeah. Wow. So you would say probably just figuring out what your passion is, number one. And then number two, you keep saying it, is just being crystal clear as to exactly what the dream was for you. Do you feel like that was super important because it kind of gave you like a target of where to go exactly? Because you ended up with all the sponsors that you wanted exactly. So I mean,
that goes all back down to finding that thing that lights the fire in you.
Yeah.
It's not like I like laid out this plan and then the fire forced me to create the plan. The fire forced me to figure it out. Like it was not like I can look back on it and see how it unfolded. Man, if I was smart enough at 12 years old to master plan everything up until now, I'd be the biggest waste of talent. Because if I have that type of genius to master plan all the way to this point at 12 years old, why didn't I do it with something like fucking mega Elon Musk level? You know what I mean? It was just like I happened, for whatever reason, a skateboard lights a fire inside of my chest and my stomach area that I can physically feel, that makes me have to do it. And that, like, it's like I'm a zombie on Walking Dead, just like they see a live person, no matter what they're coming at them, like I'm a zombie, I'm a slave to it. Like when that passion comes in, I'm a slave to it. And it leads you where you have to go. It shows, it's trial and error, and it shows you where to go. And I attribute that to, I believe in a higher power. I believe in God. And I just, you know, every night my passion led me to my prayers. I would pray, please God, please God, please God, please God. This is, please. Every day, even still to this day, every day. And I believe he really led me in the direction that I needed to go. And it's hard to say that that's not true if you look at it. Whether you believe or not, whether you believe it was just whatever factors you want to label it, it's hard to say that I wasn't led there.
By something bigger than your own understanding.
That's what I choose to believe. Other people could just be like, you know, however you want to factor it out in your head. At the end of the day, the result is the result. I was a kid who started out, a fire was lit, a dream was sent off into the universe, up to God. And as a 31-year-old man right now, sitting here talking to you, I'm living everything and more exactly to the T and beyond of that.
Wow.
So whatever it is, you can't deny that actually has happened. So I choose to believe it was given to me and it was shown to me, you know.
What would your 31-year-old self tell the 12-year-old kid? Paul?
Yeah, I remember this one.
Yeah.
Well, like I told you, man, it's not about what the 31-year-old would tell the 12-year-old. It's about what... No, it's not about what the 12-year-old... Yeah,
I asked you originally,
you asked me the way I flipped it. Okay, you're right.
You got a good memory, though. That's good.
It is about... what, as a 31 to 12-year-old, I would say, thank you. I would say, thank you, man. I'm literally a grown-ass man living off the dreams of a 12-year-old. That's all I would say. I would say, how did you know? How did you know? How were you that, like, gung-ho? How did you know? This is something like, this is crazy. I would be speechless, you know.
That's incredible, man. And then I got a few more questions from your mom's, actually. She has 3 questions for you. She said, number 1, how have you instilled your passion into your daughter?
Well, it's yet to fully come to fruition, but right now she's showing similar fire and passion for gymnastics. I didn't push her in that direction. I guess I've instilled that in her. Hopefully I've instilled that in her by giving her the space to find what she was into, giving her the access to having, like, seeing options of what to be interested in, exposing her to things, you know, like whether it just be on the internet through YouTube, exposing her to different varieties of things, exposing her to like coming to a contest and seeing me do what I'm doing, like how I was with my dad. Like subconsciously I saw him living his dream, and subconsciously I knew I wanted to live my dream. You know, just the exposure, just the giving her the space without pushing her in a direction. As long as it's constructive, I'm 100% with it.
Okay. And then number 2, how did you know you had to give 100% to your passion? That kind of touches on kind of what you already talked about, but like you said, man, you just had this burning desire inside, and everything else just kind of.
It's like asking a heroin addict, how do you know you have to give 100% effort to find the money you need to buy those drugs you need?
Yeah, it's just automatic.
It's literally out of my control. Is I have a vision in my mind of exactly what I want to see happen. I got one time on this ball of dirt floating around in space. I got one time on this earth. I'll be damned if I don't at least go for that.
And you did, man. And here we are today. It all worked out.
Yeah, I mean, so far we're still in the early part of the.
I know you're only 31.
Chapter of the book.
I know you're only 31, but for like skateboarders out there watching this or listening to this, it's like, you know, you've been a legend in the game. So it's a little hard to separate that from, you know, to the average person, 31 is still super ripe and young.
Yeah, but some of the most successful people in the world didn't find their success until well after their 30s. You know,
that's true. Last question from your mom. She said, "Anything you want to tell your mama?"
I love you, mama. No matter what, I love you. I know I'm the way I am. I know I'm like, I don't know if grumpy's the word. I wouldn't say I'm grumpy with her, but I'm just like monotone with my mom. And I love you, mama. I know I love you.
Okay. And then we end every interview with basically this game called First Things First. So I'm going to list off 10 words. You just tell me the first word or phrase that comes to your mind. So I'll just rifle them off just one after another. Love.
Love.
Patience.
Hard.
Skateboarding.
Love.
Dedication.
Passion.
Dreams.
Big.
Obstacles.
Don't see them.
Doubt.
Work through it.
Fear.
Work through it.
Money.
Blessing.
God.
The blesser.
My man, Paul. Thanks for being on the show, Paul.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. That's a wrap.
Yeah,